I call this meeting of the Planning Commission to order. Would everyone please rise? And in honor of Veterans Day, I'll ask our two veterans up here to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, I want to thank our two veterans up here and anyone else who happens to be watching or is in the audience tonight. Welcome. And real briefly, we'll go over our agenda for this evening. We have our consent agenda, which is the minutes from our October 28th meeting, and a preliminary plat on the Thompson Business Park on South Outer Road. And that's it for this evening. So that being said, we'll move to our consent agenda. Any discussion and or motions? Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes have been approved. And we'll move on to the preliminary plat for Thompson Business Park. Mr. Holly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Pretty straightforward application tonight. We'll get the site location map up there. This is a request for preliminary plat approval for an approximately 0.88 acre parcel of ground. It is located on the south side of Northwest South Outer Road, as you can see on the overhead. The zoning for this particular property is general business. And the use right now currently is a office type of use. There really is no previous approvals associated with this particular piece of ground. So not a whole lot to talk about there. As you can see in the staff report, pages 3 and 4, the minimum setbacks for this property have been met as far as the building setbacks go. They are not required to be shown on the final plat. Access to the property is from Northwest South Outer Road. Public utilities have not or were not shown on the preliminary plat. Those public utilities we know are there. Obviously, the building is being serviced. The applicant is required to install sidewalk prior to final plat approval or provide an escrow security for that in accordance with the code. Similarly, there's an easement that will need to be shown on the final plat for the landscape buffer along Northwest South Outer Road. And finally, the utility easements that aren't shown on the preliminary plat will need to be shown on the final plat. Stormwater detention for this particular property at this particular time aren't needed, and street improvements likewise have been provided and are not needed at this time either. Staff recommends approval with 3 conditions, and with that, I will stand for any questions you might have.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Holly? Thank you, Mr. Holly.
Thank you.
Would the applicant like to come forward and make a presentation, please?
It's Matt Slish with Engineering Solutions, 50 Southeast 30th Street here in Lee Summit. There's not much to add. Like I say, we're just trying to combine the 2 existing parcels that sat there that have been unplatted for a number of years into a single lot. We're fine with all staff's recommendations or requirements of approval, so I'm here for any questions, as well as the landowner is.
Okay. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you. Bring it back up here for discussion and or motions.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Banks.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Thompson Business Park first plat, preliminary plat, PP-10-13-4142 with the 3 staff conditions.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that preliminary plat has been approved. And we'll see you for the final plat. Thank you. That being said, we move on now. Back here. to any other business. Mr. Allen, I think you had a few announcements for us?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Had some discussions with folks at Lee Summit and Independence in terms of the next Planning Commissioners Training event, and we're looking at save the date of Tuesday, December 17th. We'll be having, Blue Springs will be hosting it. We don't have a location identified, or locked in, I should say, at this point. Independence and Lee Summit is providing the speaker, kind of primary speaker will be Steve Rhodes of Vireo. Vireo was the public engagement consultant for the 40 highway plan that Mark put together. So if you're at any of those meetings, you may remember some of their staff, presidents of those public meetings. So they're going to have their primary presentation will be on site planning, just kind of talking about what to look for, as we go through our UDC update and things like that. Independence did theirs most recently. We're going through ours next. Lee Summit, I think, is a little ways down the road with theirs, but they're doing some reorganization internally. But just kind of get everybody on the same page in terms of what to look for with site plans, since that seems to be kind of the most kind of complex of applications that come before planning commissions, and just talk about some of those things so we can get a little bit more versed in some of the lingo and some of the upcoming trends in site design, things like that. So it should be a very kind of hands-on, very engaging conversation. And as always, Karen always provides excellent food when we plan these, so we'll take care of you that way as well. So Tuesday, December 17th. The other information I want to mention in terms of the steering committee of the comprehensive plan, the next meeting of the Planning Commission is 2 weeks from tonight is November 25th. We'll be speaking with Chris Brewster with Gould Evans this Friday, but we don't anticipate being ready for an actual full kind of update for everybody at November 25th. So we're actually looking at a steering committee before the city council meeting to hopefully help out our city councilmen that are on the steering committee as well before the city council meeting on December 16th. So hate to hit you up kind of 2 nights in a row, but that's what we're looking at for our next steering committee, tentatively speaking. So kind of stay tuned for that in the next week. We'll have that nailed down. Other than that, I'll defer to you, Mr. Chairman, in terms of upcoming meetings. We have an application deadline this Friday for the December 9th meeting. I don't know, Jim, if we have anything at this point anticipated. There may be some coming in. Plan on having a December 9th meeting, but we would like some direction from the Planning Commission in terms of, I know there are only 6 of the 11 here tonight, but food for thought, if anything. I'll defer to you, Mr. Chairman, in terms of the 23rd would be that second meeting in December, whether there's any potential conflicts for time off with Christmas holiday, the midweek, just something to think about. But again, 2 weeks from this Friday would be our application deadline cutoff. We'd like to have some direction before then so we can let potential applicants know whether that meeting will be held.
Okay, well, since there's only 6 of us here this evening, maybe, Karen, if you could send out an email to everybody and just ask them if they're planning on being in town that week, that night, and maybe we can get a feel for this before we get to the next meeting, and then make an official decision on the next meeting.
Very good, thank you. Yeah, that would help us out. That'd be the week of the next application deadline. But as folks come in, we'll certainly let them know that may.
If we already know that there's going to be 5 or 6 of us out of town, then
Right.
we can pretty well guess what the outcome's going to be.
Exactly,
so.
considering the attendance tonight, we're getting closer and closer to those holidays that become a conflict for folks.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to share with anybody? I would like to remind anybody who might be watching, or anybody up here, that tomorrow evening at the high school, Blue Springs High School, the EDC and the Chamber of Commerce is having a joint effort. It's a community business showcase, and will be open to the public. Anybody can come out and get an idea of some of the local businesses and their products and how things work, and that runs from 6 to 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Other than that, if there are no other announcements, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.